1, 2,
3. Welcome to Did You Catch It Reviews.
Boop. I'm KB.
And this is The Real T.
And we about to get into a new movie. And the movie that we're going to review today, our first movie review, is
Don't Let Go.
Never Let Go.
Okay.
Never Let Go.
Okay, let's do it. Welcome to it. Okay, that's it.
Wait, huh?
Let's do it again. Come on.
Wait, okay. And the movie, our first movie review that we're gonna do is
Never Let Go.
Boom! Never Let Go, starring Halle Berry. It just came out September the 20th, 2024. And we're gonna review it for y'all. And we're gonna review it the only way we know how, which is the best way, with KB and The Real T. So let's get into it. Boom. Okay. Side note, my throat is a little hoarse because I'm getting over some allergies, and so is mommy. So
it's a Real T.
Yes. Okay. So Ma, you want to start off on what?
Well, first of all, I just love Halle Berry. So sometimes when I watch her movies, I'm very biased.
Me too.
Because I just love her. Yes, there are some movies that, I really rock with. This one was exciting. I think the last time I seen Halle in kind of like a horror type flick, which this one is horror, but I think it's also like a horror thriller or, something like that, or like apocalyptic type of thriller. At least that's the way that
right, mystery.
Yeah, so that was Gothica, and I really liked Gothica. I thought she did an excellent job in Gothica.
We love Gothica. Gothica was amazing. I still remember seeing that in the movies.
Yeah, but this one was really good as well. It had it kind of moved. I was very surprised at the beginning because it is a horror flick, and so we're basically in this part of the world where the narration that is being done is kind of telling you about the evil, this evil that's lurking. It's called the evil.
Yeah.
And how they are trying to protect themselves from the evil.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because in the beginning of the movie when we watched it, the narration, it kind of threw me off a little bit because I was kind of trying to stay on track with what they were talking about. So I honestly have to say that the narration in the beginning had me a little iffy because I love narration, by the way, but I wasn't really sure. I think maybe I'm just one of those people where the auditory part of things, it be making my brain slow down. Because I'd be like, oh my God, wait, hold on, let me catch what you're talking about. But it wasn't too much of that. That really just kind of happened in the beginning. And then clearly once the movie really gets into it, you start to see what they're talking about. But yeah, for a second I was like, what's going on? Are they gonna do everything through narration?
Yeah, because some movies do. But I was glad it was only really in the beginning part. And it was done by Nolan. Which
it was done by Nolan, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It was done by the youngest one. Youngest character per se. He's not that young. He's young by minutes.
And that brings us to the cast. We're gonna break down the 3 main cast because that's really the 3 main characters is really what it is centered around. So mommy just mentioned the real T. She just mentioned one of the twins. So of course we have Halle Berry, which is the mama. Her name's Mama in the film. And then we have the twins who are Samuel and Nolan. And Samuel was born 3 minutes before Nolan. And Samuel's the little cute chocolate one, and Nolan's the little cute caramel one. And he's the youngest brother. And Nolan takes on a huge role in this film because he's kind of going to play the protagonist. And they just do such an amazing job, the twins. And that's hard next to Halle Berry. You got to bring it if you're going to be acting next to Halle Berry. And they did just that.
Yeah, they definitely were. I was definitely very impressed by both of the two male characters, given their age, being that young. So, hats off to their acting coach and whatever natural ability that they have going there. So we're just going to start off like at the beginning again. You have the narration. Nolan's talking, basically giving us some oversight with regards to what his mom has told them and their life. So everything is really just attached to and connected with the house. The safety is connected with the house, and also I have Courtney talk about a little bit about the connection to the house, how they have to stay connected to the house, even when they're going outside of the house to like hunt for food and different thing, which becomes a issue towards the middle of the movie, and really like their world. So the narration is talking about the world that they live in, and why they have to be very, very careful. Yeah.
So when we're first brought into the film, and by the way, yes, there's gonna be some spoiler alerts. So if you haven't seen the film, go watch it, go see it, and then come back.
What are you waiting for?
What are you waiting for? And if you're one of those people, you don't care about spoilers, then this is the place for you. Okay, you can see the movie through our eyes. All right. Now, so yes, so when we're put in the beginning of the film, we're dropped dead in the middle of this like straight up. What do they call places that are just like dead ass straight up in the forest? Like this is a home that's like deep up in the forest. They're completely rural. This is a rural home, and they're by themselves. There's nobody connected to them, and so the concept is that this is a home that's been passed through generations. So Halle's mom had this home, and the people before her had this home. And so we're in this kind of utopia of where there's this evil that has taken on throughout the whole world. This evil has come to the world, and it has infected everybody. At least this is what Mama's saying. It's infected everybody, and the only people left is them. It's Mama, which is Halle Berry, and her twin boys. Okay? And so this is what she drills in their head the entire film, is that there's an evil outside. And the reason why you can't go outside without this rope is because if you go outside with this rope on and the evil touches you, you're going to become evil. And that's it. You're dead. And Mama ain't going to have you no more. You're going to let the evil inside the house, and everybody's just going to be dead. Okay, so she tells them that if they want to go out the house, and this is where you get the never let go from, they got to wrap the ropes around them. And that's what you see in the previews. They got to wrap this rope around them. And then when they have the rope on, they can go outside and do things like look for food and, try to survive at this point. And so they wrap the rope around them, and that's how they protect themselves from the evil. Now let's talk about that, because that's the part where I actually kind of never really questioned yet. What the rope got to do with protecting them from the evil?
Well, it's everything I feel like it's everything that's connected to the house. They also do have this like chant that they say, which they put their hand on the wood, and I don't know exactly.
It's like a daily prayer.
Yeah, it's like, but especially because there is a part in the movie where they go out, and then one of the boys accidentally. Well, I ain't gonna say it accidentally, because I think that there was something going on. So they were hunting or looking around for food, and Nolan hears Samuel, his brother, or she thinks he hears him say, "Mom likes me most," or "Mom loves me more."
Mom loves me better.
Yes,
and the reason why, side note, and the reason why that's kind of important is because Mama, Halle Berry, has told them that once they step outside, the evil's going to do whatever it can to try to psychologically mess with them.
Yes.
It's going to play tricks on you. You're going to see stuff that's not there. You're not going to know. Stuff. You're going to hear stuff that's not there. So when Samuel says, and Samuel's walking ahead of him and Nolan's behind him, Samuel goes, "Mom likes me better." That's what Nolan hears. And he's like, "What?" So is that the evil, or is that Samuel, right?
Or Samuel evil.
Or Samuel evil.
Right. And so we really don't know, because it just made it seem like that it projected from somewhere, but it was definitely Samuel's voice. And so that's kind of like where we start having a little bit, it starts to move a little bit faster to me in the movie, because Nolan, as Samuel's walking around and he's, moving forward, Nolan steps on his rope. Mm-hmm. And when he steps on his rope, he falls, like he falls forward, right? So now he's, in this fallen state. You can kind of hear like these spirits, or whatever you want to call it, the evil, moving through the forest, because now there's some disconnection that has happened.
The rope breaks off of him.
The rope breaks off of him when Nolan steps on it.
And his ankle when he runs, his ankle gets caught in a tree and it breaks.
And his ankle breaks. And, so now it's just this big, now Nolan, now Nolan is wondering, like, oh my God, like what did I do? Mm-hmm. And he's like blowing a whistle or something, or signaling, because they have a way to signal each other if they're in trouble. Yeah. And then you see Halle just come out, like, Mama Bear just running.
Yeah, because they separated.
Because they were were separated, and he's hurting. But now you hear you see and hear this evil moving through the forest to try to get to her. I mean, to get to Samuel. And then you also see Mama, who is Halle Berry, running, trying to, frantically get, to her sons to see what's going on and how can she save them. So, and then they get back, finally get back home. And then they're asked to put their hands on the wood of the house, and say this little kind of prayer to the house, I guess, or chant. And I guess that's supposed to keep them, to make sure they're not evil. I mean, it's a couple of things that's done to make sure that they're not evil. Yes. And that there's no darkness, because another thing that is mentioned also is that there's darkness that's coming. If they disconnect from each other, not only are they never to let go of the rope, but actually they're never supposed to let go of each other. They're supposed to stay close knit. And Nolan, who is just slightly younger again, like Courtney said, he's not okay with this is just the way it's gonna be. And I think I'll have you take it from there.
Yeah, I think what we get so this long running, I guess the major, how do I say this? The major big plot in the film that's driving the film, I would say, is that because they've been in this situation where they're in this rural part of the forest, of the world, and it's just only them that they've been depending on, now their resources and tools are starting to die out. And so things are starting to get a lot more intense. And so is Mama. As things get more intense and they start to run out of food and resources, Mama's even more intent as like, we have to stick together no matter what. Like, no matter what, the evil wants me to get y'all. The evil begins to send her visions and play with her as she's outside and tell her, hey, whenever I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you. Like, when you least expect it, I'm going to get you. And I'm going to make sure that them kids are, that when I do get you, that you kill your own kids and you eat your own children. Okay? So the thing about that is the way that the evil is manipulating her is by making sure that her kids can't see the evil. And so that's why Nolan is going to begin to question his mama, because Nolan can't see the evil. Halle Berry's the only person in this film who can see the evil. None of her sons can see the evil. And so they're pretty much relying on the fact that their mama knows best. And they're at that age where they're starting to question stuff like, is this bitch crazy? Or is this bitch not crazy? And so Nolan, that's what the battle that Nolan's begin to have, is that he's questioning whether or not his mom is just having an anxiety issue. This hoe got an anxiety disorder. She, you know, she something is mentally wrong with her, but I have to save her from herself. That's what Nolan's battle is. Like, he's just trying to figure out if this real or this ain't real. Because, honey, look, I'm not trying to stay in this situation for as long as you telling me we gonna have to be here forever. Because that's what she's saying.
Right.
We gonna have to be here for the rest of our lives. Nolan's like, I'm not trying to do that. It got to be another world outside this world. And so that's the beautiful part about Nolan, is he represents the part of ourselves where we're just like, I can't accept things for where they are, right? I know I've been born into this situation at home. I know that my family's saying that this is just how it is, this is just how families are, but Nolan's that kid that got this in every family that's just like, I'm not cool with this. I got to go out and find something else. I got to move to another city, another country, whatever I got to do. But I got to find out that this can't be all there is. And that's what Nolan represents in the film. He represents that contrast. He also kind of plays the protagonist in a way, because he's the one that revs everything up. He's the one that gets everything started based off of his actions.
Yeah, he definitely is starting a fire. He's a fire starter. He's a fire starter of sorts. But he is also in it alone, because his brother definitely takes his mother's side with regards to everything that she's saying, and he is subscribing to it as well. So yeah.
And that leads us to, because Nolan's the youngest, and that leads us to the part where Mama's like, so
they're starving.
They're starving, and what does Mama do? Mom's like, look.
Oh, they have a dog. We forgot about Coda.
Coda. Well, how could we forget about Coda? Okay, their dog Coda, who plays a very huge piece in the movie.
Excuse me.
You okay?
I'm fine.
We're back. We're back, y'all.
So, going back to, they're starving. Starving so bad that they're actually like eating like a piece of a tree.
They're eating tree bark, baby.
They eating tree bark, and Mama, aka Halle Berry, is frying it up in a pan and trying to put stuff on it to make it more tasty. But after a while, she begins to have some real conversations with them. And she's saying that they're about to die. So they're like looking at her like, what? What are you talking about? She was like, if we don't get some food, you know, because they are making efforts. So they go out, you know, she tries to find like, I mean, well, at one point they're like finding like squirrels and all this other stuff. But they are running out of resources for food. Mind you, they're in one small patch of land. The rope can only go so far, right? So,
and that's a long running theme throughout the movie. It's that this tug of like limitation, right? This rope, it represents protection, but it also represents limitation
and restriction. Because multiple times during the film, we notice that they're struggling with the rope. They can only go so far. Yeah, and isn't it like kind of like real life? Like you feel like you're capped at some point. So
yeah, the more you put, you know, try to protect yourself, you think that that's your freedom, but it's very much limited. And I think that they kind of represent that. The rope that represents that, that's done really well in the film. You know, that I love that the rope kind of represents that, you know, that kind of tug of war of trying to, knowing that you want to reach your family member, knowing that you want to, you know, go past whatever it is you're trying to go past, but you can't because you're afraid.
Right. And then also the mother and Mama is afraid for her children based off of her fears. So that could also represent, you know, and a parental unit being afraid to let their kids go. right?
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. Like, she doesn't want an empty nest, right? She wants her kids with her because she honestly feels technically that's all that she has. Mind you, her mom is passed away. We didn't really get into it, but
her mom is the evil.
Her mom represents the evil. You'll see her mom lurking around as somebody she sees, and also her husband,
her baby daddy,
her baby daddy. Okay,
probably her husband.
Yeah, maybe her husband, who, according to what we're being told, is she had to kill them to get the evil away from her children. So there's that. That whole question mark of, is she crazy, or is she? I mean, is this stuff real? Now, we are obviously seeing the evil lurking, the evil speaking to her and talking to her and connecting with her. However, the kids at this point, I don't have that same connection to this evil. They only know the evil through mama. So now, she's like, okay, there's limitations. We can't go far because, we got to stay close to the house. So she makes this absurd, which,
survival tactic,
like
style thought.
Yeah, that we got to eat Coda. We're gonna have to eat Coda, and Nolan just like loses it.
And Coda's the dog, by the way.
Coda is the dog.
Is their dog.
Coda's a good dog. He's really cute.
Yeah, and Coda's the one. The evil can't touch Coda. Coda ain't gotta have a damn rope on him to go outside. Because for some odd reason in the movie, the evil just can't touch Coda.
Yeah, the evil doesn't want animals. They want
humans. Real live human flesh.
So, Nolan, that's his best friend. Sam loves Coda too, but I think that Nolan probably, if I could say, I believe that maybe possibly Nolan might be a little bit envious of Coda. Coda is not tied to the house like that. He's not affected. He might be envious of the fact that he could just run free however he wants to, and that represents something to him, right?
Yeah.
Because he wants his freedom.
And he keeps questioning his mom throughout the entire film, like, why can't we do this? And why can't we do that? And, of course, his twin Samuel, when Mama throws out the fact that we got to eat Coda to prepare for this horrible winter that's coming, we got to chop this dog up and eat him. Samuel, his twin brother, is just like, yeah, whatever Mom said. Whatever.
Yeah, because at some point he asked, she like, well, what did Sam say? And he was like, Nolan's like, he's going to say whatever you say, which he does.
Which Sam's like, what she said.
Right.
Period.
And even though, Sam may have, may feel that strongly, he has an allegiance to his mother. And
I also feel like Sam's allegiance to the protection of his brother as well. He is the big brother. And so I think that Sam also feels, he believes his mother. He loves and trusts his mother. But I think that he also has a mind of his own. I think that he's just really wise. And he just feels like, even though he wants that freedom as well, I think Sam is just like, no, I am the wise brother. I think I know what's best. And I do believe that this evil is out here. And dog, if we got to eat the dog to survive, well, it's either him or us. And I choose us.
Right. And I failed to bring up the fact that Nolan has a bell attached to him. And that's because he sometimes sleepwalks. Mm-hmm. So, it just reminded me, I've had cats before that had like bells attached to their collar or whatever, so that you would know where they are at all times, that type of thing. So that's another thing. Like, he's almost like a monitor. If you think about it, like if he was a prisoner, he's under some type of monitoring. And I think it's because Mama knows that this one is not going to stay put for long. And I gotta watch him, and
that's good.
There is a part there is a part in the movie where she puts him in this like chamber that's like underneath the house, and she makes him
part.
Yeah, she makes him swear that he's not going anywhere and he's down there, and she'll do it for both of them, but she usually in the movie more so we just see like Nolan down there in this kind of like chamber which has a door to close on him, and she was like, let me know what it feels like in the darkness, because like she's closing the door onto him because she's trying to make him familiar with the dark part of what lies outside of the house. Yeah. She wants him to connect to that, almost like Mama wants him to be afraid, you know, and he's not. He's literally not like fearless. And
also I think that she puts them into that whatever contraption it is given hot box, whatever type of contraption it is. She puts them in this under the floorboards and slams the door and keeps them in the darkness. So, and then when she opens the door, she says, did you go all the way through the darkness? And did you find your way out? And she would ask him that. And he'd be like, they'll both be like, yeah, I was really scared and I lost you guys. And that's what she says. She says, lose us completely and then find your way back. And so she will throw them in the thing, and then when they come out, they're like, what happened? I lost you guys. I was afraid, but then I remembered that I love home and I love you guys, and then I saw the light again, and then they open the door. And so the whole thought is that she put them in there for some hours, if not days. So it's giving borderline abuse at this point, you know. So just know that, I don't know if that's what y'all was thinking, but when I seen it, I was like, this is giving borderline abuse. This is abuse, okay? And it's acceptable because the evil's out there. And look, little motherfuckers, we ain't got time for you to grow up in 5-10 years. I'm gonna need y'all ass to grow up right now. So if I gotta throw you in a hot box for a couple days so you understand, so you can get this through your head that it's real out there, then that's what I had to do. And that's what she was doing.
Yeah, she wants to make a point that... Well, she wants to make the point that she's being truthful to them, with them, about what's lurking outside of the home, you know, and what could possibly be inside of the home if they don't stay, I guess, connected to one another. So all of this really has to do with the home. It's so much that's surrounding, like, the connection with the home is unreal. But going back to them starving, and she putting out there that they have to kill the dog Coda, and how Nolan like completely goes ballistic, and he's like, no, I won't let you do it. I mean, when I say his character, man, he just rose to the occasion. Hats off, like I said, accolades to the actor that's playing this character, because he really
his name is PERCY DAGGS.
PERCY DAGGS, yes. Hats off to him, because
and
he
Anthony B. Jenkins is his brother's name.
Anthony B. Jenkins, both of the brothers, like, excellent job. They killed that scene along with Halle, because now this is when it's going to escalate, and we're moving towards the end. It's going to escalate because he is going to now step up to his mom. He has been kind of like, but this is on another level.
Cutthroat. He's like, no, you're not back to kill Coda.
He basically is saying, I'm not going to let you do it. You don't understand. You know, he gets to the point where he's screaming, like, I hate you, Mom. Like,
crying.
I hate you both. Like, he's crying. He's all tore up about it.
I hate this family.
And she drags the Coda, you know, by his neck. And
side note, Halle Berry's giving very much Black Mama top tier up in this film. If you ain't never seen a Black Mama in action, you see the action in this moment. Because she grabbed that dog up by the collar. And I remember so many times my mom, my granny just grabbed our dog up and was like, because we will treat our dogs like they belong. I mean, they in the family at this point. We going to treat your ass like you one of our kids. If I got to snatch your ass up by the neck, that's what I'm doing. And that's what she did.
And she, like, takes him to, I guess, like, the back area. And in this
the shed,
that's closed off, and
she got that damn she had
that
damn bow and arrow.
She had that Hunger Games bow and arrow.
Woo. And it was rusty too.
Yeah.
It was that old rusty.
But that's what she used to hunt.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so she had that, and she just couldn't. Like, it was just really hard.
She was welling up.
But she was about to.
Yeah.
And, you know, because she loved the dog too. And she knew that was going to be very hard to do. And then Courtney is going to take it from there, what Nolan does.
And Nolan does the unthinkable. Now, I want y'all to remember what I said about the whole Black Mama thing. Because this is what I was thinking when I watched it. She's in the shed. She got that bow and arrow. And I'm telling you, it's an iron bow and arrow. This ain't no bow and arrow you get from Walmart. This is one that you make yourself. Or you buy it from some old countryman in the rural area. And you know it's always iron and steel, what they do out there. And it's old. It look about 75 years old. It's been passed down through the family. It has to be. If it pierces you, you're dead.
But she's good with it.
But she good with it. And she got that thing right up to that. And I'm like, the way that they shot it, I was just thinking to myself, dang, you ain't got to get the little man in the head. I mean, they just had the dog front and center. Damn, you can't get him, Halle Berry, when he walking away. She had the thing right next to his head. I guess she was trying to kill him fast.
She didn't want him to suffer.
Okay, but yeah, we were suffering watching it. And then Nolan comes up behind her and machetes her rope. And not only does he machete that damn rope, but after that, he slammed the door behind her and locked her ass in the shed. Now, if you know anything about Black Mama, that's just, you don't do that. You don't do that.
Yes, and
I was so surprised. I was like, oh my God.
Like, Nolan, what are you doing? Like,
I was like,
we understand. But remember, Nolan is he doesn't believe this whole thing.
He doesn't. He's at this point where he's like, you're crazy.
He believes, and he says that to her. He was like, it's not real. It's all a lie. I'll prove it to you.
I'll prove it to you.
You know, I'll put you in the shed. You're going to see.
You're going to see nothing's going to happen.
Ain't nobody coming for you. Nothing's going to happen to you. You know, woo, woo, woo.
And I mean, and you could tell it was so cute and innocent. I mean, it wasn't really cute, but it was definitely innocent and ignorant, because he really thought, he was just like, Mom, you're crazy, and I'm going to make you uncrazy by locking you in the shed. Sometimes you have to, I'm going to do you how you do me. Face the darkness. So that was very much.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. Yeah. Like, you know, here's your turn.
Your turn, Mom. Your turn.
But
your turn.
It didn't exactly turn out the way that he planned. And at this point, again, her mother is resurfacing, and she's saying all types of stuff.
The evil comes in the shed and appears in the shed right after he cuts her rope. And in the form of her mom, who's been haunting her. Right.
And at this point, the evil is saying, like, I'm going to take your life first. I'm going to put the darkness in you. Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to make you eat your kids. I don't know what this whole thing is about, eat your children, but anyway. So she wasn't having it, and she was ready to fight.
And she was like lurking up, playing with her, just terrorizing Halle Berry. Like, I'm going to get you. She had a slithering tongue. Yeah. That's the thing. The evil had a little snake-like tongue,
Right. They were like very reptilian.
Reptilian kind of evil. Like, there was a snaky presence in the evil. So she got all this black gook in her mouth, and she had like, ugh, brush your teeth, bitch.
Right. But, I mean, the thing about it was they showed these characters early on. So it wasn't like when you saw them, you were like, oh my gosh. When you first see him, you're like, but it wasn't like so shocking and scary. That's why I said it wasn't, to me, a horror flick. It was more so like this type of thriller that you just had to kind of like, unpack a little bit. But yes, so Nolan does this unspeakable thing that he thinks is great. This, I'm going to resolve all of this. We're going to be able to go after this, right? Mm-hmm. But I think that's what he was thinking. Once I put you in a shed and you find out that none of this is true, we can leave.
We can leave this place.
Right. No, not like that.
Nope. So sorry, Nolan.
Halle wasn't going to allow herself to be consumed by this darkness. She finds a piece of glass from the shed that had broken off like the window. She grabs it. She does something to her throat. I don't want to be too graphic. I don't want to be too graphic because this is YouTube, and we know this is YouTube, and we know certain language they don't. But she does something to herself.
Yes. She pop herself.
Yes,
okay.
Yes, and she falls.
She go night forever.
She falls to the ground, and here comes Sam. Sam comes out. He's like, oh my goodness. He gets in the shed. it's very sad because he's realizing that his mom is dying, or if she's not already dead, he's hugging her, he's crying. And what does Nolan do?
And Nolan is like, oh my God. And mind you, when Sam runs out, he runs out with his rope on. So, of course, you can't touch, you have your rope on. And so Nolan's like, wait a second, that did not go the way I thought it was going to go. And I'm in shock because I'm like, Halle Berry, we thought she was going to be in this whole film.
We thought she was going to be there to the end.
And she wasn't, but she kind of comes back. And so Nolan, he sees this and he's like, okay, the evil's real. Okay, if I didn't know before, I know now because I ain't got a mama no more. The evil's real. So he takes the rope and he wraps it around him immediately. And he go back in the house. Meanwhile, Samuel's outside. Back at the shed, back at the ranch. Samuel's outside with his asphyxiated mama. And he's just out there all night long. And he just won't let his mama go. And he just sleep on his mama. And Nolan's in the house like, what did I just do? Meanwhile, they are starving. Okay? And so now we go into this point where after this happens, Sam becomes really sick because he completely stops eating. Mind you, they don't have any food, but because of his sadness, that's what I got from him. Because of his grief, he becomes deathly sick. He's not able to do anything. And everything really is on Nolan at this point. I mean, he started it. You started, now you got to finish it. And so then we kind of get to this part in the film, towards the end of the film, where everything gets big. I
do think that they miss out on the opportunity to show Nolan grieving.
That part. You did talk about that.
Yeah, I do think that they could have shown in some part, because it's like Nolan goes into the Sam mode almost, or to the mama mode, like I got to get us food, and it's almost like he just shifts there without the remorse part. Yeah. And I think that the only time that we actually see the remorse is when a stranger, they're encountered by a stranger. So basically what Nolan is going to do is he's going to use like the extension of the ropes to go as far as he can. He's still got this adventurous discovery thing. Now he can go further because he got, more length to his rope or whatever. Gets all the way actually to the street. To the road. And if you've ever seen like The Village, or any of you seen The Village, like this scene where somebody from the village who's never been part of the city or doesn't know that there's anything outside of their village goes to the road, and it's just like, oh, it's a whole nother world. Even though he doesn't see a car or anything, he's like, what's this?
Like, he's like, his feet are touching the road.
And he's like, help me. And then he makes his way back.
Because nobody does anything, but then when he goes back.
Yeah. He makes his way back, and then he sees this camper dude, and he's like, hey, were you just like, were you just calling for help or something? But he's suspicious. So one thing that we haven't mentioned too, and we're getting like very close to the end, is that Nolan vacillates. So in one respect, Nolan is like, it's not true, all of this evil stuff. And in another respect, he's like, maybe it true? Is. Right. So he kind of vacillates between what he believes and what he doesn't believe. And that, he's conflicted.
And we see that through the fact that after his mom, after his mom is gone, he puts the rope back on.
Yeah, right? he puts the rope back on immediately.
He never not once takes it off.
Even when he gets to the road, he's got the ropes on. And then he's very suspicious of this. He's very suspicious of the camper because he was told by his mom that sometimes strangers will appear. She had everything set up. She even told them that strangers will appear, making it seem like they're real, but they'll be representing the evil. Yeah. And so here comes Sam, seeing the stranger, comes out with the bow and the arrow, and the strange guy, the camper, was like, oh, hold up now. I was just trying to help you. I heard somebody said they needed help. And then, Sam is not. He's very, very...
he's very sick at this point.
He's sick. He's weakly. You can see he's sick and weakly. He doesn't believe it. All he wants... Now the quote-unquote evil has killed his mom, he ain't about to watch, them go down. So he's thinking that this is evil. The guy tries to leave. He winds up getting an arrow in the back or gut or whatever. He falls.
Sam, hits him with this arrow. And the guy's trying to say, hey, I have food. And Sam, he hits him with the arrow, and that's it. It goes right through the guy.
Yeah, and then Nolan eventually is like, oh, he said he had food, he had a back sack or whatever. Right. Nolan finds the dude bleeding out. He tries to get the back sack from him, and the dude tries to fight, but he's really weak, because he got hit,
Yeah.
He's bleeding.
And Nolan gets the food. And so finally now they're not starving anymore. But the thing about it is that I think that Samuel now is at this point where after all of that takes place, he's able... First Samuel doesn't even want the food, and then Samuel kind of eats the food, and after all of that takes place and they have the food that they want, at least for right now, I think that kind of makes Sam feel bad about what he did, because now Sam begins to question himself at the end of the film. And this is what leads us into the last piece of the film, which is Sam actually becoming the evil himself.
Yeah. So he sees a little girl. So mind you, in the back sack is a picture of the camper with a little girl. And Sam sees a little girl. Now, the one thing that we don't know is if the little girl was actually real.
We don't, because the evil can turn into whatever.
If it's just his guilt.
Right.
Now, thinking about that, could it have possibly been, and I didn't think about this, could it have possibly been Halle's guilt that produced her mom and her husband?
Huh?
It could have been Halle's guilt that she was seeing these people from her past. Because remember, supposedly, allegedly, Halle killed them. So was it also Halle's guilt that we were seeing producing these characters? Was we seeing Halle's guilt manifested in her seeing her mom? Halle's guilt manifesting in her seeing her husband because she had killed him. Yeah. So maybe the little girl is a manifestation of Sam's guilt.
Oh, that's
of him killing this girl's dad, and so that kind of ghostly thing is coming back to haunt. Things from our past will come back to haunt us, which just really breeds more fear. And so,
that's good.
Yeah, so she's running. She takes off running through the woods. That's what kind of made us believe that she wasn't real, because why she didn't really engage with him. And
I think that she sees Sam and she questions him, where's my dad? It's nighttime, my dad left.
And then she sees his, her dad's flashlight.
Yeah, she sees her dad's flashlight. She sees that their mom is in the shed and she sees that person ain't alive. And so she runs off, which totally makes sense. But the crazy part about it is Sam immediately runs after her, and we're like, oh God. If you're watching this, we're like, Sam, no, don't do it. Bring your ass back here.
And he runs past his rope. He lets go.
He
lets go running. Of the never let go.
He lets go to never let go, because at this point he's just like, no, I totally messed up. I killed somebody. He's a child, of course. So now he's like, oh my God, my brother was right the whole time. This evil is not real. So he lets go, which is what he's not supposed to do. And that is when we get to the point where we see that the little girl wasn't no little girl.
Yes, and then
she start climbing on the wall, and it's 10 in her hands.
Yeah,
it's giving centipede.
Yeah, he's out in the woods, and he gets overtaken by
what did
the
it
evil.
do? It spits out this snakely tongue. It was disgusting.
Yeah, he's now infested.
It goes in his mouth and everything.
He's now infested.
It gets all up in his insides. Yeah. It's disgusting.
He gets overtaken by this darkness, you know. But also I think that like this could be guilt, it could be shame, it could be the darkness could represent other things like this evil of, you know, what I've done or what I, you know, the crime that I just committed, it, you know, whatever. But we know he was in a really bad place when he did it. He had just lost his mom and he didn't know.
He's starving, you know, he's delusional.
He didn't really know what he was doing. But nevertheless, now his brother, Nolan, is coming out and he's like, you know, still attached to his little rope, you know, when he goes down the stairs and he notices his brother's rope and he was like, man, where are you?
He's
like,
pulling it.
And he he get to the end, he sees it's nothing, and he was like, oh my God. And he's calling him like, Sam, blah, blah, blah. You know, and
that's when...
Then we're like right at the end.
And then that's when Sam appears. And he's like, hey, bro, what's up? Bring your it. And that's when Sam cuts his brother's rope.
Yeah.
He cuts his brother's rope. And the evil ends up getting inside of the house. And so now Sam is trying to get his brother and attack his brother. And he, you know, Nolan goes back into the house. And that's one of the things in the beginning of the movie that we know is that she said once that rope is cut, the evil's going to get inside the house. And that's what the evil has wanted this whole time, is to get in the house. And so we're finally in this moment where the evil's inside the house. And unfortunately, it's inside Samuel too.
And little did we know, like, the evil was already inside the house because, unfortunately, Mama had some darkness in her. Yeah,
Mama. And, you know, that's what wasn't really explained to me, which I feel like maybe we could break down, is that I'm wondering, what is it when she said, hey, I have a past. This is what I didn't tell you. This is what she was telling Nolan. She said, what I didn't tell you was I have a past. The evil's here because of me. Now, what the movie didn't tell us is what exactly that past was. They show a picture of Halle Berry before the world was taken over by evil. And she kind of looked dressed like a little hoochie mama. So we don't know what type of shit she was doing or what she was into. But she has these tattoos on her. She has a tattoo of a snake.
Maybe she made some agreement.
Yeah, she has a tattoo of a snake on her back. A tattoo of spiders on her arms. She has very dark tattoos. And so she's saying she's the reason why the evil is in that house. And so that was not fully explained. But yeah, it was giving that she's maybe has dabbled with something she wasn't supposed to. And that's why the evil was messing with them. Okay? And so when we get into the house, we see that Nolan finds Samuel. And Nolan touches the wood of the house. And he's trying to go over daily prayer. Because remember, you have to get through the prayer to find out whether you're evil or not. And Nolan's over here in front of Samuel like, hey, Samuel, remember the prayer? And he trying to do the prayer, and Samuel's like, right. And we see that evil guy. Samuel ain't saying that prayer.
No, Samuel
he ain't saying that prayer.
Samuel's giving over at this point, so it ain't no saying no prayer. It gets to the point where Samuel's like, okay, you hiding, because Nolan is hiding. He's like, okay, I'm gonna smoke you out. Literally, like I'm gonna smoke you out. He sets like the house on fire.
Yeah, and he goes outside.
Yeah, Nolan goes outside. He's all on the roof, and he was like, he just like literally like Sam is just like in the
grass,
like outside. An Indian squat, like
I smoked you out. You gotta come out.
Just waiting, and then he's like sharpening a knife and stuff. Like
he's truly evil at this point.
Yeah, at this point, he just like, come on, brother, because you can't stay in there. And what's surprising is that Nolan goes back into the house, goes into the floorboard, you know, and So he begins to see his mom manifest her spirit. That's when she has the conversation.
Because mind you, when, you know, Samuel leaves the house and tries to smoke him out, the house is on fire at this point. But also it's a blaze. We have to remember, so is the evil. And so the evil not only can manifest itself in Samuel, but now it manifests itself anywhere and however it can. And so while Nolan's inside the house, it manifests itself in Halle Berry. And it starts to project itself as Halle Berry. And it's like, Nolan, you might as well give in. I got you. Your mind's already. Come on to me. Come on to mama.
And she's basically saying that the same darkness is in me that is in you.
It's in your blood.
It's in your bloodline.
Yeah.
So this kind of like ties into that whole like,
what does that mean?
Bloodline generational thing.
Like a generational
curse or a bloodline curse. You know, for those of you that are spiritual, you might understand. that type of language, but
It was
that's
giving
that's
yeah.
what it was giving. That you're a part of me, and I made a pact,
Yeah, and so did you.
And so, by default, you and your brother are part of this. But Nolan is a fighter. We have to remember
he's not going.
He's not a regular juggler type of a son that's just gonna be like, okay, mom, I'm going. No, he's a fighter,
and he knows that it's not her.
He knows it's not her.
No, it's not my mom. You're not my mom.
Yeah, so he drags her little entity in that floorboard.
He does the only thing he knows to do, which what he was taught by his mother, and he goes to the floorboards, and the little thing is like, what are you gonna do with that floorboard? And he's like, I'm gonna do this, and he snatches her ass in that floorboard, and they both get locked in there while the house is on fire.
Yeah, the house is really, it's ablaze. It's about to go down.
And there's this really beautiful scene that takes place where he locks himself in with the evil, and he holds tight to that evil as he's fighting. And at this point, we recognize that the evil doesn't like the darkness. The evil cannot be in the darkness. And as he's fighting this evil and holding on, it starts to scream and shed its skin of mama, and the true manifestation of the evil comes out. And it's a giant
snake,
reptilian-like snake. And he's holding on to that thing.
Yeah.
Until it just finally burst.
Yeah, I'm not saying like he doesn't fear, but he does give off the sense that, well, this is how it needs to end. I'm not letting go. I mean, never let go, right? I'm not going to let go of what I know to be true. And, he holds on. And then you see, like, the morning time come. The house is completely obliterated.
Burned down.
But the floorboard where he went under,
it's still sustained. And
you just see him, and the helicopters are coming, and the paramedics and the fire department and people, they come and pull it up. Probably because they noticed it was a fire. They come and pull him up, and we
find this other version of life.
Yeah,
that Nolan had thought existed.
That Nolan in his heart probably knew existed, but couldn't prove it.
And we finally see that.
So he's in a helicopter, and what does he ask for? He was like, "My brother." He's pulling like,
"Where's my brother? Where's my brother?"
He's like, "My brother Sam, where is he?" And then you see Sam
right next to him.
In that scene, just like looking.
And they kind of have their masks on, and it's kind of like this beautiful scene where we're like, Nolan was right. There is life. There was life outside of here. He just had to fight to find it. And I think that's what, for the audience at least, that is very telling too as well. It's like when you have these limitations, you have to keep going. You have to face those challenges, because ultimately everything that you desire is on the other side.
And you have to fight off the darkness too. Like
yes,
you might have
to
fight
destroy
off
it. You
darkness,
have to get rid of it.
Dark sand. You might have to fight off like people who don't believe in you. You might have to fight off people who you want to come with you. Like it, unfortunately everybody can't come.
Everybody can't go.
Maybe it wasn't meant for his brother to be a part of that. Maybe he had to venture out on his own, but he was like, a little bit afraid because that's all he knew. So sometimes that can be the case. And so that is our the very end what Sam says.
Right. And so there's actually a cute part where Sam takes this picture with his camera when he's outside, and he takes a picture of himself, a selfie of him in front of the burning house, and you can see this image of a hand, a demonic hand on his shoulder. I just thought, oh my God, who put that in there? That was so good. So you seen it, it was so creepy. Probably the creepiest part about the film. And while he's in the helicopter, we see that they save Samuel as well. And he's like, Nolan's like, the evil. We did it. The evil's broken off of us. We can be free now. We can be free. And right at the end, what does Samuel say? Mom loves me better. So we hear that. We hear that in the audio.
Yeah.
And then the credits go off.
Yeah.
And we start to see the credits roll. And that's the end of the film.
That's the movie.
That's the movie. That is. And I loved it. I loved how it ended.
Yeah.
I thought it was so cute because then we were like, wait, is the evil still there? Or is he just playing? Or is Sammy just playing with his little brother? Because who doesn't say that to their siblings?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Was he playing the whole time? Right?
Absolutely.
Because remember, and there's a point in the film where Nolan asked Samuel, when after his ankle got broken, he said, you said that mom loved me better. And Samuel goes, I didn't say that.
Right. So did he?
But did he say it?
Right. Did he say it?
Did
so he? Yeah. So that is it. That is our review.
Yes. That is it. And boy, am I tired.
Yes, I'm so tired in my throat. This is how you know it's time for us to go.
And we love y'all so much to do this, not feeling our best. But we had to just give this review to y'all because we know y'all wanted it.
Yep, we're going to try to review a few more. We did see some other movies. So we're going to try to review that and catch you up on that too.
And we got old movies we're going to review as well.
Absolutely.
Or if you have a movie that y'all want us to review, let us know and write it in the comments.
Yes, and if you've seen this movie and you have like a different take on it or take on a scene that we talked about, please don't forget to put it in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and hit those notifications when we go live. We'd love to be a part of your family and a part of your movie watching experience. And we out.
From one film lover to another. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye. Boy.